Hey folks, Sam with TNVC, Greenline, and Warrior Poet, and obviously Don Edwards from Greenline Tactical, here to talk about helmets, specifically ballistic helmets. So, I guess we'll start from the top and go down, but take it away, Don.
All right. So yeah, we're going to show you a few things that we have and we deal with and have dealt with a lot of people, helping people decide what they need or what they ought to buy for helmets. You know, we're in the night vision game. It's a big thing for us, so it's almost the only way really to run NVGs is on a helmet. That's really the best way. So ballistic helmets, you don't always need them, but that's what we're going to talk about today. What I have here is my trusty old OpsCore helmet. I've had this probably, I think, since 2010, maybe. It's got a lot of miles and a lot of dust embedded in it. And not too long ago, I breathed a little bit of extra life into it with a few upgrades. Inside of it here are the 4D tactical.
Pretty much all the helmets we're going to talk
pads.
about today are going to have the 4D tactical.
Right.
It's
a very awesome upgrade, and it's an inexpensive upgrade.
Money
when
well
it comes
spent.
to comfort. Money well spent for sure. One of the better things you can do with just about any ballistic helmet, especially if you wear it a lot. It adds in comfort. So what I've done to this, it's had a few different shrouds put on it. It has a Wilcox 3-hole shroud on the front. Very awesome shroud for the money. This one has the G24 on it. I'll just set this to the side.
Stable lockup with Wilcox mounts.
Yeah,
lifetime warranty if you're using.
As long as you're
mounts.
using Wilcox mounts and shrouds together, you have a lifetime warranty on the Wilcox parts, which is a really good thing. The other thing that this helmet here has that didn't come standard with it are I moved the comms or you can just put regular hearing protection on here. It doesn't have to be a communication headset, but I'm using the Marks from Unity Tactical. These are awesome. I've had the other kind that pop out and pop in. Those are great. Maybe if all you do is on the range or whatever. But when you're shooting a lot and you're shooting in awkward positions, those things, especially after they get old a little bit, start to get to where they'll pop loose, and now all of a sudden you don't have hearing protection, and you've either got to stop what you're doing or just deal with it and have ringing ears and maybe permanent hearing damage, which is not a good thing. These things snug up tight, and you can't loosen them or pop them loose, so you're going to have to deal with that, but there's a reason they're made.
The Marks from Unity are pretty cool in that they'll work with just about every helmet rail out there. So Don has his configured for OpsCore, mine is configured for this M-Tech Flux ballistic helmet. They take up very little real estate on the rail, and in addition to that, both Don and I are using the Unity Remora system to mount. He has a little admin light, and I have a Surefire X300V dual spectrum light, and it just reduces what's on the rail even further. So we really like the Unity stuff. It's very well thought out, and it's really good. So, and like I said, this is a helmet from M-Tech. M-Tech has been around for a few years, but they're super innovative. Currently, I do believe that they produce the lightest weight ballistic helmet out there with the largest amount of protection. So that's really cool. The back of the helmet actually goes down further to cover more of your lower portion of your skull.
Yeah, the back of your skull. They're really cool the way they fit.
Yeah.
They don't really need the adjusting dial the way some of the other types do, and they stay on your head really well.
Their rails are also M-Lock, which is pretty cool. So if you've got KDG Connect Development Group pop in, pop out rail inserts, you can move stuff around.
Or if you just want to put a piece of Picatinny rail
or that
M-Lock style and use accessories that you might already have that fit on pick rail. It's a really good option. It works well, and it's one of the things that's just kind of common. And one thing I just noticed here is like there are a lot of striking similarities as to how we have our.
There's a reason why Don and I set up our helmets the way we do.
It's not like we got together last night and said, "Hey, set your helmet up like I've got mine." It just kind of happened.
A lot of it's trial and error, but most of the time, it is common sense, and you don't really have to think about it. But you know, we both run the Mohawk Mark I counterweight from TMBC.
Right.
Because we don't use battery packs for our nods, so we like to be able to carry, you know, a little bit of
some spare batteries in here. They're really cool. You guys have probably seen plenty of videos about these. It has a battery tray. Whoops, mine doesn't have anything in it, but I need to fix that. You could also do whatever there. I've got one of these little night light electric chem lights, you know, because we're out on the range a lot, and it saves me from having to crack a new chem light every time we do something.
Yep. We're both running strobes. He's got a
Hellstar.
no, that's SNS Precision.
No, that's a Hellstar 6.
That's not the Manta?
Yeah.
Okay.
Manta's on my one.
Oh, the other one.
You have
I have a SDU 39 MS 2000. Actually,
yeah,
this is what I had in the Navy.
Those are great strobes. I know one of our friends doesn't like them, but I've got several of them, and they don't break. You know, on me, I've had good luck with them.
They run on AA batteries.
Strobes,
and these strobes are actually designed for escape and evasion purposes, but I'm so familiar with this strobe from, you know, a decade in the military that I just like it. There's better strobes out there, but I have it. So
one other thing that I have on this one, I don't think you've got on here yet, but the Wilcox retention lanyard, I love it. I tell people it's cheap insurance. If you're gonna hang $3,000 to $9,000 worth of night vision goggles off your face, a $70 retention lanyard to keep it from dropping and smashing on the ground is definitely worth it. You know, I know all this stuff adds up, but that to me is super cheap insurance policy for my my expensive equipment.
Right.
There, you know, if you don't run nods, then hey, whatever. But you know, these bungees, they work kind of for that, but that's really not. They keep things from vibrating and keep things locked in and from rocking around. Mm-hmm. They can help, but yeah, this is such a great idea, man.
Yep.
You know, I got it on both of my helmets that I use regularly.
And then the other thing we like to mention, sometimes it's hard to get these helmets, or they're back ordered, or they're out of stock, or whatever, because you know, government entities get first priority when it comes to ballistic protection. So if you order these, you know, sometimes
you gotta wait.
And let's just say you can't get the helmet color you want. Not the end of the world.
You could paint it.
You could paint it.
Like this one's been painted probably a couple of times.
Or you can run a helmet cover, which is cool because it protects the finish of your helmet. And also you can buy a differing paint scheme and then have a helmet that will work well in different environments. This happens to be the new one from Spiritus. They make them for the MTech specifically. I have a couple of others from like First Spear, Agilite makes them. And they're all good helmet covers, and they all, you know, allow you to attach things and protect the helmet finish.
Some of them will have little cable management loops built into them, or you know, something like that. They'll have extra Velcro so you can, you know, secure your different IFF patches and things like that. They're great.
Now, let us also mention that both of these helmets, these are high dollar helmets. I mean, these are the best you can get. This helmet probably is, with all this crap attached to it, sitting at $200 to $2,200.
Right.
With the light and the marks and the Air Pro and the mount and everything like that. And that's a lot of money. And we understand if people are like, "Oh, $2,000," you know, that's a lot of money.
I'm not gonna disagree with you.
I can't do it. Fear not, there are alternatives.
There are options. Here,
yes.
I'll hand this to you.
Got it.
Do you want me to talk about this one first?
Yeah, talk about that one.
This is a Mitch ACH helmet that I've had forever. I had it forever.
Since before the GWAT.
Probably. This may not be the one that I had from before that, but it very well could be. I can't remember. I've had it so long. It was nasty. It was sweaty. It was dirty. The bolts that hold the chin strap in were rusty. I decided one day I'm going to breathe some new life into this old helmet, mainly so that I can show other guys this is what you can do.
Yeah, you don't need to chuck an old helmet. There are a lot of cool upgrades
There's
you can do.
a lot of good. Now, is this as light as that or that? No. But, you know, I'm not.
It does offer a little bit better protection.
It gives me a little bit more side protection, whatever. So what have I done to this? I added a new shroud from the old Mitch plate, if you know what I'm talking about, that was on here. This is the hybrid shroud from L4 hybrid shroud from Wilcox.
Yep.
This is one of the options you have if you have an older helmet like the ACHs and the Mitch that are only drilled for single hole, so you don't start drilling on your own, mess up the 3-hole pattern, or damage the integrity of the ballistics of the helmet. So you can do it either single hole, or these pop out and there are 3 holes for it. The cool thing about that is now I have a modern L4 style shroud on an old style helmet. It's got a rubber backing, which once I cinch this center down, it doesn't move. So the problem with the old Mitch plate, where especially running a PBS 14, where it starts to sag on one side and you can't keep it straight, you can't figure out how to keep it straight, and you're duct taping, 100-mile-an-hour tape and everything, those days are done. So that's about a $60 thing.
We recommend running duals so you don't have that problem.
Yeah, if you just run duals, you don't have that problem. It's got the I think you can buy this with a kit that comes with this, and you save a few bucks by having the lanyard and the shroud kit. I'm pretty sure that's what I ended up getting. And the Ops Corps makes their
ACH rails.
ACH rails, arc rails, that go on the ACH profile. It might look a little funny at first, but man, this gives you the ability to put your ear pro on there. You got to work underneath there, or it gives you the ability to attach lights and IR lights and stuff like that to the side, or just look cool, right?
And that helmet is now fully decked out,
right,
ready for
I put new
whatever.
I took the old pads out and put the 4D tactical pads in here. They're awesome, and a new chin strap, and it's like a brand new helmet, of course. And then the counterweight, and what probably in upgrades and accessories, there's probably about $300, $300
to $400,
between $3 and $4, depending upon what you get. $100, and then I just took an old lid that had nothing wrong with it, and now it's perfectly functional and has all the modern day accoutrements that we tend to want and
it's a rebuilt engine on a car or whatever you
right.
call it.
So and I'm pretty happy with the way this turned out. I think for like SWAT teams or whatever that are stuck with some old helmets and it's not in the budget, this is a good way to do it. Individual officers
it's a great way to do it.
Yeah, individual officers who either have issued or say you have your old helmet from back in the war, you can upgrade this thing in a lot of and get a lot of good use out of it.
Right.
What do you got there?
And then stepping up from just kind of upgrading your helmet, we have kind of the middle of the road. This is a revision A3 Viper or a battle skin helmet from a revision. It is it's kind of your entry level helmet, and by no means does that mean it's a lousy helmet. These are great helmets. They're just a little bit heavier than the high dollar ones. But I totaled it up. I think it was just under $640 for this.
For everything
that you see here. So you've got a Wilcox L4 3-hole shroud. You've got the revision arc rails. You've got the Cry Precision Velcro kit. You've got the TNVC Mohawk Mark 1, and then you have the 4D tactical pads, plus the helmet and everything. And it's ready. I was able to put all this stuff together. Bolt it all together in about 20 minutes, and this helmet is fully mission capable at this point. All you need to do is put a mount and mount your nods, maybe add a light or a strobe, and then you're rocking and rolling. But for less than $650, you could have this if you're willing to bolt it all on together.
Now, when you buy this, what comes on? Do the arc rails come on it?
Nope,
no?
nope.
Okay.
It's just the helmet.
It's totally slick.
Yep, totally slick. It just has the suspension
That's the chin
system.
strap that comes with it.
Yep,
okay.
And it has the old revision pad kit. I'm not going to say it's uncomfortable, but when you compare it to the 4D tactical, everything is uncomfortable. The other option you have is the Gentex TBH helmet. Comes in 3 configurations. You got your full cut, which is similar to that. You've got a mid cut.
It's actually identical to this.
Yep, and then a high cut, which is like this, and that comes with all the Ops Corps stuff, the Vast Shroud, the arc rails, the Ops Corps Lux liner, and the Ops Corps H&8 that Don had on his both of his helmets. Yeah. And that one is $650 also.
And that comes, basically everything that's here, except the Mohawk.
Yep. So
you don't have to spend, as much money. What I would say is
you do need to spend, unless you've already got MSA or whatever ACH. If we're talking about ballistic protection, we're talking about stopping ballistic projectiles, you need to spend a certain amount of money to ensure that you're getting a decent, well-made, not in China product. There are a lot of companies out there that are selling helmets that are NIJ certed, but what they don't tell you is their shells are made in China, and backface deformation. Backface deformation is on the interior when it's struck by a projectile. It will obviously
it stopped it, but
it imploded it
caved
to the
in
point
to a
where
certain point where it still caused damage.
culling books for Christmas, as we call it.
Well, and the big thing too, and you talked about the Gentex, which we don't have one here, but Gentex owns OpsCore. They, so the OpsCore helmet and the Gentex helmet, they're not the same shell, but all the parts that they put on it are the exact same parts that they put on the OpsCore helmet.
It's
the other
like,
thing too is Gentex is the main supplier for the government contract for ACH helmets.
Think
so
Lexus think Lexus Toyota.
Yeah. So Gentex helmets are military issue helmets.
They are.
So you're getting exactly what what you're asking for. You're not you're not getting a knockoff helmet. And same thing with the revision.
Yep.
You're not getting a knockoff helmet. You're getting a brand name that is tested and it's duty grade, if you will, whatever you choose to call duty grade. But it is certified for
combat.
But the great thing is you could breathe a lot of life into an older helmet, or for $600 to $650 you can have a squared away rig, and more often than not you don't have to wait for some of these lesser expensive helmets like you do the higher end ones.
Yeah, this is a cool helmet. I mean, there's nothing wrong with this helmet. So, or you can go, all the bells and whistles and go with something like a Cry Precision airframe.
Yeah.
A Team Wendy even, or a MTech or an OpsCore.
And some of the reasons, some of these, the more expensive lines of helmets, they're lighter.
They're lighter.
There's no doubt about it. And
all this stuff is standardized.
If you live, and a lot of these things come on it, so you're not spending the time to figure out what you need. But if you live in your helmet, then it might, definitely be worth it to get, one of the lighter helmets. I think, and that's the reason I bought this back in the day, was I was tired of wearing this, every day, all day and all night.
Right.
So I thought, well, let me, every little bit I can take off my neck, the better.
It helps. It does.
It does. It makes a difference over time.
Anyway, that's pretty much it for ballistic helmets. Do your due diligence, shop around, ask questions. If it seems like it's too good to be true, it probably is. Most of this stuff is available, at TNVC. There's other, Spiritus Systems sells a lot of this stuff. MTech, you can
buy stuff direct.
Stuff direct.
The big thing is
Unity Tactical.
when you're trying to protect your head, don't scrimp.
Yeah.
Or skimp. What's the other word I'm looking for? But,
don't be cheap.
Don't be cheap
don't
when
be,
it's your brain bucket
poor.
that you're trying to protect.
Yeah, it's important.
It's not worth it. It's saving a couple $100, on something that's is questionable as to whether or not it's gonna do what you think it's gonna do.
Yep. But that's a quick rundown of ballistic helmets. There are many out there. Do your research. They're all good in their own way. But we'll do another video on bump helmets, non-ballistic stuff later on. But hope you enjoyed this. Hope you learned something. If you have further questions,
let me know.
You can come to a Green Line class or call me at TNVC.
Hit us up. Find us through social media.
Yep.
I'll answer questions as much as I can.
All right. Have a